Hello, kindred spirits. So today I wanted to talk about two things. The last 2 weeks have been me trying to fit in making patterns between dealing with just normal life stuff, as sometimes happens. But I kind of wanted to go over some thought processes. If you're starting a new project, it can be really easy to start overthinking and trying to process what you want to do, what you want to make it out of, and it can kind of get stuck in that spiral of kind of overthinking it. So I wanted to go over a few things that I consider when I'm starting a new project. So I've come up with kind of a thought process to help me decide what I want to do and what things I need to consider in picking out fabric, picking out patterns. One thing that I always come at it from is what's the technical side of this. So it's very pretty and it's fashionable, but what is it supposed to do? In this case, it's work dresses. They're meant to be sensible, they're meant to be easy for me to work in, they're meant to be easy for me to kind of get a little bit mucky in, and it's gonna be easy to wash, easy to care for, and it's okay for them to get mucky and messed up to some degree because I'm gonna be working in this. What are some of the things I consider? So, first thing that I bring up, because this is historical clothing, is who am I representing? The other pieces that I made are definitely representing upper middle class to upper class. I know that who I'm representing isn't who I want to be talking about. The people that I'm more interested in researching and representing are the people who made everything possible. The lifestyle of the upper middle class, the upper class, wasn't possible without everybody who was working under them. The farmers, I live in an area that has a lot of factories, and without the people who are actively working in those conditions, their lifestyle wouldn't have been possible. And other people who are working in these buildings who are following the fashions and who are trying to dress their best, but who are also having to marry those fashions with the fact that they have things they need to do and they cannot have 1,000 buttons that a maid has to help them do up. They can't have trains that are going to get in the way and get very mucked up very quickly in the places they're working or get caught on things. They had to try to marry fashion with sensibility. These people are the people who made it possible for me to be here. They're my family, but they're also the people who made society work and were the backbone of everything that brought us to this era. And without them, we couldn't have all the things that we have today. So they're the stories I'm more interested in telling. The next things that I consider when I'm picking patterns and fabric are sort of moving out of the historical range and more of the personal. For example, I have to take into consideration comfort. I have both sensory issues sensory needs, as well as I have some chronic illness, and I have to take that into consideration when building clothes. Soft fabrics are really important to me. I like to have long skirts in order to keep sensory away from my legs, and I like to have long sleeves in order to keep sensory away from my arms, and I have more control of what textures are coming in contact with me. Also, with the more soft and comfortable fabrics, I also have to take into consideration the season. So I'm not super preoccupied all the time with fabrics and patterns that they would have had. I pick things that I like and are inspiring to me. So sometimes I will pick things that do have polyester in them. During the winter, that's not a huge problem. We heat the house, but it's still, I'm just usually always cold, and so having layers and having heat trapped closer to my body is not always a bad thing. So I have a little bit more wiggle room during the colder months. During the summer, I get super grumpy and I don't like to be hot and I get sticky and it's awful. During the hotter seasons, I am more careful about the fabrics I use. I want to be using all natural cottons, all natural linens, things that don't have any synthetic fibers in them, things that are breathable, so lighter weight cottons. Yeah, so another thing to consider, season for the fabrics, what kind of fabrics are going to be best for that season. That's going to be the most comfortable and breathable and function the way you want, you know, warm in the winter, cool in the summer, as well as what's going to be most comfortable on you. And the other thing that I look at is durability and sustainability. Durability, I'm going to be kneeling in dirt, I'm going to be walking my dogs, and they're going to be running in and out of water and getting mucky and then wanting to jump off on me and give me kisses, and there's just no way that I'm keeping dirt and grime off of me during the more active outdoorsy months. So fabrics that I can stain treat easily without hurting the fabrics, that I can throw in the wash without worrying too much about them. Sustainability, just using things that I know are gonna be things that I can keep on using and reusing as much as possible. One choice is to go to a thrift store and find things like curtains, and the thing that I've had the best luck with is actually bed sheets. Especially if you just want like a plain cotton. A lot of bed sheets you can find are 100% cotton. So if you need a lot of yardage, buying a king size 100% cotton bed sheet from a thrift store is a really excellent way to get that kind of amount of fabric you need at a very cheap price. That is definitely a great way to find fabric depending on what you're looking for. The other thing that I'm very lucky to have as far as sustainability around here for finding fabrics is the fact that I have a fabric outlet. What that fabric outlet does is they buy up fabric from places that are retiring fabrics, that are closing sometimes. So everything is basically salvaged fabric that otherwise would probably go in a landfill, unfortunately. The yardage that they have massive rolls of fabric that are still the leftovers of whatever they were able to buy up from these companies that are getting rid of stuff. So that's a way that is great for me because A, they're selling it at a much lower price than if I bought that fabric offline or much brand new. I don't have to have it shipped to me. I can feel all those fabrics to make sure that they're going to be something that I can use for my sensory needs. And they're all reused fabrics. So yeah, those are some of the things to consider when making an outfit or starting a new project. I'm sure the list is more extensive. If you have thoughts on what things you consider for your projects, I'd love to hear. These are just things that I have to end up considering when I'm making a project. I hope you enjoyed that, and until next time, happy sewing. Hi! Hi!